Just grabbing my charger. Heading to Sam's for dinner.
Okay, but you'll miss your favorite tenderloin.
Wait, is that the Tuscan herb?
Mm-hmm. Hatfield marinated Tuscan herb. That's a real shame.
Did I say I was going to Sam's? Sam's coming here. Keep up, Dad.
When better care leads to better pork, it's irresistible. Hatfield Pork. Better care, better pork.
You're listening to Dead Frequency. Midnight, where the normal ends and the nightmare begins. Realistic horror stories. Unfiltered fear. New episodes drop every week. 3 chilling tales to haunt your nights. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and ask yourself, are you really alone? Let's begin. Story: The Renewal Stew. My family doesn't age like other people. My grandmother was 98 when she passed, but she looked 65, maybe even younger. My great-uncle is 102 and still chops his own firewood. For generations, we've always credited our longevity to good genes and one sacred tradition: the renewal stew, a dark, rich, savory stew served at every major family gathering. It wasn't just food. It made you feel warm from the inside out, alive, vibrant, almost reborn. When Grandma Rose died, I inherited the old family farmhouse. While going through her things, tucked deep in a drawer in her study, I found something I'd never seen before. A cracked leather-bound recipe book filled with faded, handwritten notes. I opened it with trembling fingers, heart pounding. There it was, renewal stew, but the page was mostly blank. No ingredients, no instructions, just 2 chilling lines written in the shaky script of my great-great-grandmother. For the broth, see the cellar instructions. For the seasoning, see the attic instructions. That's when the real story began. I went down into the cellar. It was cold, damp, and smelled like wet earth. Behind a row of old canning jars, I noticed something odd. A loose stone in the wall. When I pulled it free, I found a hidden chamber inside. What I saw made my skin crawl. A dozen large, unglazed clay pots sat in neat rows. Each was filled with dark, peaty soil, and growing from each pot was a thick, pale, gnarled root. Each root twisted up from the soil like a human hand clawing its way out. My stomach turned. These weren't plants. They were something else. Nearby, on a dusty wooden table, sat a leather-bound journal, its pages crumbling with age. I flipped it open. The entries dated back to the 1800s. They described the process in terrifying detail. When a member of our family dies, they aren't buried. They're planted. Their body is prepared with a special blend of herbs and laid to rest in these pots. Over time, the body and soil produce something called a life root. That root, that thing in the pots, is what becomes the base of the renewal stew. The root is harvested, boiled for 3 days straight, and turned into broth. I dropped the book. My stomach twisted with nausea. We weren't just eating stew. We were eating the concentrated essence of our dead ancestors. Still shaking, I climbed to the attic, determined to see the rest. I found an old trunk sealed with a rusted padlock. I broke it open. Inside were rows of small, ornate silver boxes, one for each living family member. I picked up mine. My name was freshly engraved on the lid. Inside the box sat a small, black obsidian knife, cold, sharp. Another journal lay beneath the trunk's false bottom. It explained the final ingredient, the seasoning. It wasn't a spice. Every person attending the gathering was required to make a living offering. A drop of blood, a sliver of fingernail. A tear cried directly into the pot. This sacrifice, this living gift, was what awakened the ancestral broth. I closed the book and sat there in the attic for a long time. My hands were trembling. My whole body felt wrong. This wasn't tradition. It was ritual, grotesque, cannibalistic, evil. I told myself I would never be part of it. When the autumn equinox gathering came, I made an excuse. I said I had the flu. I stayed home. I felt proud at first, like I was breaking the cycle. Then, a week later, my mother called. Her voice was brittle, barely above a whisper. "Your Aunt Carol, she's not well. It's been sudden." I drove to see her, and the woman who opened the door was unrecognizable. She looked 80. Her skin sagged like thin parchment. Her hair was patchy and white, her eyes sunken and wild. But it was her. It was Aunt Carol. She was only 58. She gripped my wrist hard, too hard, and stared at me with desperate eyes. "You didn't come," she rasped. "The stew. It wasn't strong enough. It's always weaker when someone's missing." That's when I understood. We don't have good genes. We have a curse, a rapid, rotting decay that's always waiting to claim us. Unless we keep feeding the stew. The renewal stew doesn't grant us life. It borrows it. The winter solstice is next month. My mother called again yesterday. She said my great-uncle can't hold an axe anymore. His hands are stiff and brittle. She plucked a gray hair, and a patch of skin came with it. Then she asked, "Will you be coming home for the solstice?" She tried to sound casual, but I could hear the hunger underneath. And now, I'm sitting here, in the dark, looking at the little silver box with my name on it. The obsidian knife glints in the light, cold, silent, waiting. I have a choice. I can go, offer my blood, my body, my soul. I can feed the ritual, keep my family young and glowing, and pretend everything is normal. Or I can stay here, pure, clean, and watch them decay, one by one, knowing that same rot is already flowing through my veins. Waiting, because the stew doesn't offer immortality. It just postpones the inevitable. And without it, I don't know how long I have.
It's time for a fall road trip, and we've got 3 amazing lodges ready to welcome you for an incredible Yosemite adventure, like our gorgeous new resort, Firefall Ranch. Unwind with endless amenities, join in daily activities, or roam scenic hills and meadows with no hidden resort fees. Kick it up a notch with a guided horseback ride or another unforgettable excursion. Go to YosemiteHotels.com to book your fall getaway and use promo code PODCAST to get half off your 3rd night.
Story 2. The Pyramid Beneath. I've spent the last 25 years as an engineer in Scotland. No wife, no kids, not even a long-term girlfriend. I was married to the work. Buildings, bridges, blueprints. The next challenge was always more interesting than the last. But 2 weeks ago, something strange happened. An old army friend, now someone with real power, invited me to a private event at Balmoral Castle. That Balmoral, the Queen's estate. Just receiving the invitation made my hands sweat. So I pulled out my best suit, one of those reserved for funerals or job interviews, and hit the road. But 15 minutes from the castle, fate decided to intervene. My car sputtered, coughed, and died right on the edge of the highlands. As I stood there, cursing under my breath, a silver Range Rover Sport pulled up behind me. The driver got out. He was in his mid-40s, sharp suit, slicked back hair, and he reeked of the strongest, most artificial bubble bath you could imagine. Like flowers gone bad. He smiled, extended a hand. "Mr. Scale," he said, "looks like you're having a rough day. Want me to take a look?" I raised an eyebrow. "You a mechanic?" He laughed. No. Import, export executive. Got injured at work, sent home. Got bored. helped my uncle at his garage for a while, picked up a few tricks, and before I could reply, he had the hood open, still wearing a vest and cufflinks, oddly formal for roadside repairs. While working under the bonnet, he chatted casually. "You heading to a party?" Judging by the getup. I nodded. Balmoral Estate. A friend's hosting. He froze for just a second. A flicker of recognition, or was it hesitation? Crossed his face. "You ever hear the stories? About Balmoral? And that pyramid nearby?" I shrugged. "Just seen some hikers on YouTube visit it. Never heard anything else." He looked at me and lowered his voice. "They say some European royals meet there once a year. For sport. Not fox hunting, though." He looked me dead in the eyes. "Kids. They used to import them from the US. Until their supplier got shut down. Sheriff got murdered. Now, they take them from poor neighborhoods in Glasgow." Then he gave the engine one final knock and stood up. "There you go. Should run just fine now." I barely managed to thank him before getting back in the car. As I pulled away, I glanced at the rearview mirror. He was still watching me, unblinking. The party at Balmoral? Everything you'd expect. Crystal glasses, fake smiles, military medals polished so hard they practically screamed. The elite, sipping wine like their blood wasn't freezing cold. But I couldn't shake what he'd said. That pyramid. That story. So I slipped out during a fake cigarette break and made my way through the woods, following the trail toward the infamous stone pyramid built by Queen Victoria for Prince Albert. Took me nearly an hour on foot, but I found it. There it stood, dark, ancient, and completely out of place, regal and wrong. I approached it slowly, ran my hand across the weathered plaque, and pushed. The base of the stone shifted. Then, slowly, the entire slab slid open, revealing a spiral staircase cut deep into the earth. I hesitated and descended. It got colder with every step. The light above vanished. The air turned heavy. And then, I saw them, rows of cells. Each one held a child. Eyes closed, barely breathing, not moving. Drugged? Sedated? I didn't know. I wanted to scream, to run, to help, but two things stopped me. First, at the far end of the corridor, I saw a tunnel, and inside that tunnel was a silver Range Rover Sport. Second, the air was filled with that same suffocating bubble bath scent. That's when I felt it. A hand, soft, firm, resting on my shoulder, and a voice. "Fancy seeing you here."
Just grabbing my charger. Heading to Sam's for dinner.
Okay, but you'll miss your favorite tenderloin.
Wait, is that the Tuscan herb?
Hatfield marinated Tuscan herb. That's a real shame.
Did I say I was going to Sam's? Sam's coming here. Keep up, Dad.
When better care leads to better pork, it's irresistible. Hatfield Pork. Better care, better pork.